Yo, what is up guys and welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Hostility and today I'm back with another gaming PC build, and today's budget is 1,000 Canadian dollars, and this is actually a build that I'm doing for someone who commented saying that, hold up, let me pull up the comment here, could you possibly do a $1,000 Canadian build, because the prices here in Canada are horrible compared to other places such as the US. And I totally agree with you, man. Especially here in New Zealand, you know, the inflation is crazy. $1,000 US build pretty much costs around $2 grand here, which is absolutely insane. So I absolutely feel you, dude. So shout out to you, my Canadian brother, by the name of Brandon Vids, and hopefully this does help you out. And yeah, so before we go ahead and get started with the build, I just want to let you guys know that I will be taking requests for any kind of builds that you want me to do, any different budgets, different currencies, different types of builds. Maybe you want to see like a workstation build, or you want to see like a super budget gaming build, maybe you want to see like a $10,000 build, or like a full setup. Just let me know what you guys want to see in the comments below. I will definitely take all your suggestions into account. And yeah, so yeah, that's one thing that I want to do this year, just to expand and do more currencies, I guess. And also the gameplay that you're watching in the background is some Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombies on some Der Eisendrache. This was pulled from my stream. It is in 720, so I do apologize if you know, your eyes hurting due to the 720, but it shouldn't be a big deal. Hopefully you guys do enjoy that in the background. And with all that rambling out of the way, let's go ahead and get started with the build, kicking it off with the CPU, which is the Intel Core i5 6500 3.2 GHz quad-core processor. Now the i5 is an absolute sweet spot for $1,000 builds in my opinion, and since you know we're in Canada, yeah, I always fuck that up. Anyways, since we're in Canadian dollars, I wasn't able to chuck in a 6600K here because it's just simply too expensive, and in my opinion, maybe not too worth it, because firstly, a lot of people don't actually, they buy a K-SKU CPU, but they don't overclock their computer, which is kind of redundant. So maybe if you're not too experienced, because you know $1,000 is like a perfect beginner's build, and I doubt many beginners will be overclocking, and this i5 will just perform will perform just as well, because you know it's not clocked too far away from the 6600K, and you're not gaining much from buying a 6600K, except that you lose a CPU cooler and that you get to be able to overclock it, which many people aren't going to do. So anyways, that's why I chose the 6500 instead of the 6600K. Now going on to the motherboard, I've chosen the Gigabyte GA-Z170X UD3 ATX motherboard. Now this board from Gigabyte is a really nice one, and you know, since I chose a Z170 board, a lot of you might be like, well, you know, you just said before, don't get a 6600K, why'd you choose this motherboard, a Z170 motherboard, dumbass? And I will answer that right now. So for this build, since you know, like I wasn't able to fit in that kind of stuff, so I was thinking maybe to go for long-term reliability and upgradability. So with this Z170 motherboard, you're getting very high standard, and you know this board has a lot of features. Probably some you won't even need. Has USB-C, all the SATA ports that you'd ever need. M.2. I'm pretty sure it has SLI capabilities, and you know, maybe in the future you could pick up a 6700K from like Canada Craigslist or some sort of auction site. I don't know what you guys have over there. Please excuse me. I love Canada, by the way. But yeah, you know, you could chuck in a 6700K and overclock it when you do get a little bit more experience with PCs. And since this is a nice Z170 motherboard, it has better VRMs, which means that you will be able to get better overclocks with this. So in my opinion, this is what I would go for. I'd go for more long term if you didn't have that much money to spend. So going on to the memory, I've chosen the G.Skill Ripjaws V series 16GB DDR4 2400, and obviously this is a little bit higher clock than your standard DDR3 or DDR4 memory, which is normally at 2133, so you get a little bit of a performance bump there. Obviously you can overclock it further, but memory overclocking is a bitch. Anyways, I don't want to get into that. I've chosen 16GB, even though I said this is a gaming build. Right, you know, the demand for memory is a lot higher now. So I've noticed on my PC, when I just have like Spotify, Chrome, Steam, and like just all the basic programs open, Discord, and you know, a couple other programs, I'm using already 6GB of memory idle, and you know, that's not too far from the 8GB threshold. And then again, when I'm recording or streaming or rendering, I'm using around 14 gigabytes of RAM. So, you know, I'm assuming Brandon Vids here is going to be getting into YouTube, so you know, I want to check him out. But, so yeah, 16 gigabytes of RAM will be future-proof. It'll come in handy, you know. It's better to have more than to have less. So going on to the storage, we have the Dream couple, or the power couple, as I've been referring to, the SSD and the HDD combo. I mean, obviously, most PCs have this as a standard nowadays, and the SSD that I've chosen is the ADATA Premier SP550 240GB 2.5-inch solid-state drive. Now, I did my research on this SSD. I've been saying before, you know, this SSD is amazing price to performance, and, you know, it's good for the money, still is a reliable brand, and all of that is true. But, you know, I can back it up even further and say that the components inside this SSD are actually, you know, components from the Samsung 850 EVO, which has to be one of the best SSDs out there on the market right now. And this costs way less, so the price to performance ratio has just shot up like a mofo. And you know, since you're using Samsung components, Samsung's very reliable for their SSDs and stuff. So you know, you have that peace of mind knowing that you do have high quality components in their SSD, and you know, you're less likely to fail. And I checked the read-write speeds, and you know, they are pretty close to the 850 EVO. Obviously, they're not up to par, but it's still pretty close. Not a bad trade-off. I mean, especially since the price difference is just so great. But anyways, yeah, definitely that SSD is worth it. 240 gigs, that is plenty to put your OS, your programs, and maybe a couple of your favorite games onto there if you wish to. That'll make for just some stellar loading times and some really awesome boot up times as well. Now, going on to the hard drive, I've chosen the Western Digital Caviar Blue 1TB 3.5-inch 7200 RPM hard drive, and I'm trying to just keep this rolling, guys. So Western Digital, probably the best brand for hard drives right now. It's not this one doesn't cost too much more than the Seagate Barracuda, so I was like, you know, you'd rather get more reliability out of it, because the Seagates do have a less, like, the I don't know what you call it, but the recall rate, I guess, or RMA rate. So yeah, 1 terabyte's plenty of space to store all your photos, your movies, your music, your videos, your other stuff. That I'm not going to judge you on what you store on your hard drives. But anyways, it is 7200 RPM, will be absolutely fine for loading all your other, I guess your other storage items that you don't really access too often. Now, going on to the video card, I've chosen the EVGA GeForce 950 2GB Superclocked plus ACX 2.0 video card. And you know, EVGA makes fantastic cards, and I shouldn't have to say why I chose an EVGA graphics card, but I will tell you why I chose the 950 instead. I mean, like, I was gonna try and go for a 970, but obviously, you know, with the budget, I wasn't able to fit it in, unfortunately. So I was thinking to myself, maybe, you know, you could get a 950, which is undoubtedly one of the best 1080p cards right now. Like, we'll be able to crush pretty much every single game 1080p high, 60 FPS. And you know, it is overclockable. It does have the ACX 2.0 cooler, so it'll be running nice and frosty. And then maybe in the future, since this card doesn't cost too much, you know, you could swap it out for maybe a Pascal card, like a 1070 or a 1080, and then upgrade in the future. When you know, the demands for like 2K or 4K gaming or VR. I think that would be a good idea if you are planning on building this PC. Or otherwise, you could just, you know, go for a 970 or a 980 Ti right now if you really do want to, and you have the extra money. So yeah, that is my reasoning for the graphics card. Now, going on to the case, I've chosen the NZXT S340 ATX mid-tower case, and NZXT makes fantastic cases. Like, the H440 has gotten a massive rep. This S340 is just the cleanest looking case that you could see. Like, you know, it's got a flat front panel, very minimalistic, has a side window, and it does have very nice cable management. So you know, the NZXT cases, they're very nice to build in. They have a power supply shroud, so that's not showing off there. Plenty of room for all your components and more. So you know, if this case isn't to your liking, obviously you can change it. This is a custom build, so you can change out any of the parts to suit your needs. But yeah, I would choose the NZXT S340 for this particular build. Now, going on to the last item of the build, I've chosen for the power supply, the EVGA 650 watt 80+ gold certified semi-modular ATX power supply. And I absolutely just overlooked this one. This is the GQ model. It's not as good as the G2, obviously, because the G2 is fully modular and this one's semi-modular. But you know, for this build and for this price, you don't really need a fully modular power supply because you're going to be plugging in that ATX cable anyways, and you're going to be plugging that CPU cable anyways. But you know, you can choose whether you want to put in all your SATA, up to you, however you want to pronounce that, or your graphics card cables. Since this is a 950, you won't be pulling much power from it, so you wouldn't need too many connectors. So that way, it's still, you know, it's still as good as a fully modular power supply in that you can save your time for cable management and take out some of the cables that you don't need. This is also a tier 1 power supply, 80 plus gold, so it will be running nice and efficient. And EVGA power supplies have just been they've been killing it in power supplies lately. Absolutely one of the best brands in terms of price and the amount of power supply that you get for paying that price. So yeah, definitely would recommend the EVGA power supplies. So that is pretty much the build. The total comes to $996. Excuse me, guys. 996 loonies, dollars. I don't know. Loonies a coin. And 15 cents in Canada land dollars. So there you go. Hopefully you guys did enjoy that build. Like I said before, you know, if you have any suggestions, if you have any comments, or if you would like to request a build, please be sure to leave that in the comments below. I'll try and respond to every single one of your comments. If you did enjoy this build, please be sure to smack that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, I have so much PC build and PC related content on my channel, so if you do like what you see, I will be uploading videos frequently. And yeah, also follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/hostilitygames or @hostilitygames, and also add me on Snapchat, hostilityg. You know, I just got Snapchat, but anyways, again, thank you guys so much for watching, really do appreciate it. Got a couple more videos coming in the next few days, so stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.